Yo, what's good? We back with another Top TV. I'm right here with Desmond Wilson, CMV Pros, Trucking School.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A straight trucking school, man. I'm glad to have you on the show, man.
Thanks for the
I've been seeing Desmond. We at the same office building. So I've been seeing him doing this thing for a few years since I've been here. Training people, getting people on the road.
Yes, sir.
Certifying them. And licensing them? Is that licensing?
So doing all the entry-level driver training, all the federal requirements, state requirements, and then they'll go over to various test sites, whether that be, Tri-C, Great Lakes. A lot of the trucking schools have test sites as well.
Okay.
But I just train individuals, get them their required hours, and then they can go they go test somewhere else.
So you you a training site, and then they go test.
Exactly. Yep, and I could also have a testing site as well, but I like it's too close. You know what I'm saying? I like, at the end of the day, my students can go anywhere and test. That way
What's your success rate? Man,
that's a good question, and I wish I could, tell the audience, when you come to CMV Pros, there's a 100% guaranteed chance you're going to pass.
But that ain't on you, though.
I'm responsible to a certain extent. I play a part, the student play a part, but just a disclaimer for me, the state of Ohio don't even allow us to guarantee that a student will be successful or guarantee that they'll pass. Yeah. So I'm thankful for that, but...
they don't even put that on y'all.
If I said I guarantee when you come to CMV Pros you're going to pass, I'll be getting in trouble. That's violating the rules of Ohio. Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? And that's a bless for us, because honestly, I'm leading the student to the well. Yeah. They're going to have to drink. They're going to have to take it from there and, be on their path for success. So it's for me just to instill them fundamentals in them students and kind of get them going. And I try to be 100% honest with people, even when they call. And I'm all about $1. So you call me with some money today, you can start tomorrow. That's how I am. Okay, but... you can start the night if you want to. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, I just got to... be honest with people and let them know, you're probably about to do one of the hardest things that you ever done, man. Like getting them, you finna be operating a 80,000-pound vehicle, and it's a weapon of mass destruction if it's not used correctly. So everybody really doing it for the money. They jumping out here to make a few extra dollars. But if you're not going to put in that ground level work and build it up and really be serious about it. This is not one of them things you can, hey man, you got weekend classes? Yeah. I can accommodate any situation, any business, however, like I say. But who's to say every time I train you Saturday, Sunday, when you come back next Saturday and Sunday, we starting back over again, because you ain't retaining that information from last week. Yeah. So you're going to need a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
How long is a class? How long is a training session?
Okay, so the training sessions are, the classes, 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday. But there's a total of about 4 weeks is our training time. So about 4 weeks of training time. Really, the state of Ohio requires 80 hours. That's 40 hours in the classroom and 40 hours of behind-the-wheel instruction. When we say behind the wheel, that's you physically at the controls of the truck.
That's what I see y'all out there doing.
Exactly. That's what we're doing out in the yard. Don't get it misconstrued, though. See, a lot of places and they call all the time, well, Des, you only offer 80 hours. Well, another school offering 160, 200. I even heard of 600-hour programs.
That's a long time.
It's a long time, but at the end of the day, what are you really getting? See, we calculating your behind the wheel time, but we're not. It's still time that you're spending watching other people train. That might be 300 hours, depending on where you go.
Yeah, because you got how many people in the class?
For me, it's about 4 people in the class. Yeah. I do about 8 people a month. That's the average. Small class sizes, you and one person sharing the truck. Not to throw dirt on none of the other schools' names and stuff like that. But you'll be at a school and it's 8 people sharing one truck.
Yeah.
So
are you really learning then?
Exactly.
When there's that many people in the class.
And I'm paying for trucking school, so I'm coming for the experience. I ain't think I need to be in here saying, hey, man, you only did this 4 times. You think I can get a turn to get in the truck and dealing with conflict and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So
because people would be eager.
And some people just aggressive. Some people like, hey, man, The instructor ain't told me to get out the truck. I ain't getting out the truck.
I'm trying to learn all I can learn.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to ask you this, man. Yes. What inspired the creation of CMV Pros, and why focus on trucking education in Cleveland?
Man, that's an excellent question. And to be honest with you, I kind of just found myself in transportation and trucking and logistics. I didn't know how that path was going to be for me. In 2004, family member told me to come out here to overnight transportation, put in an application. You're going to be working in a warehouse. So I just kind of, just really jumped out there, not knowing what I was getting into, and it started me out on a path into logistics and transportation. So from there, I ended up getting my CDL in 2007, and it was just a struggle. I mean, my very first day out by myself, I had a backing accident. So
like your very first day driving.
My very first day
you
by
licensed,
myself.
You certified, you on the road.
I'm on the road. I'm happy. Yeah. I'm going from making $12 an hour to making about $22 an hour.
Yeah.
It's popping. It's going down. But I was focused 100% on the money. I wasn't even respecting the craft.
On the safety.
Exactly. Not even knowing how much damage you can cause and stuff like that. So
did that change your perspective on everything?
Exactly, and that's how I kind of got to CMV Pros, because I was on a journey not knowing where that journey would take me. And now when I fast forward, got my CDL in 2007, almost 18 years later, that CDL, even though I got a school, even though I, may be a consultant for someone else, it's still about having that valid CDL.
Yeah.
No tickets, no accidents. I don't smoke weed.
Yeah.
You can test me today and my system is clean. I'm still a driver at the end of the day. So, this now it's, $6,250, but back then it may have been $2,000, $2,500
to get the license,
to get your CDLs, and raise your awareness out on the road, protect the motoring public, and just be on your journey, man. So I can go any state. I can get me a job. That's one thing I know.
That's the beautiful thing about truck driving.
Exactly.
You really not out of business, not as of late, but now we got some stuff going on with the ports. It's like, they say the ports is kind of empty right now. You know what I mean?
Let me share something with you too, and it's just I just met a business owner today. I don't even have all this information, but anyway, great guy. I got a dumpster delivered over to an investment property.
Yeah.
And I was just picking his brain. And I'm just sitting there, I say, man, how much would you take to kind of just buy you out your company? He said $1.5 million. He was breaking it down. He said I had a $5,000 day today. Yeah. All he do is he got a CDLs, he got trucks and stuff, but you need a dumpster. They drop a dumpster off. I pay $600 for the dumpster. He'll come back and get it when I fill it up. That's what he do. That's his business. Just dropping off dumpsters.
So it ain't even about. It's all you ain't got to just be doing port drops.
None of that.
It's all various different ways to get money in the trucking business.
So many different ways. Yep. So many different ways. Some people right on this same property, Right Way Transportation. They provide, I don't know if they got contracts with the city of Cleveland or the school district, stuff like that. But they provide transportation, passenger transportation.
Yeah.
Guys is dropping off dumpsters, hauling cars,
all type of
dump trucks, just whatever it is, whatever niche that you got, you find it.
Let me ask you a question. Do you need a CDL to drive public transportation?
Yeah, so you need a CDL to operate any vehicle where the gross vehicle weight rating is over 26,001 pounds. Mm-hmm. So that's very confusing for people. But if you think about it, when you go to Penske or U-Haul and rent one of their trucks, our driver's license cover us to drive that vehicle.
Okay.
And you'll see right on the door, it says under 26,000 pounds, because that 1 pound over now requires a CDL. So when you start thinking about the type of vehicles like Class B vehicles, think of like various cities where they trimming trees and, the salt trucks out on the road. Those are Class B vehicles. Okay. Once you start connecting a trailer and that trailer is over 10,001 pounds, now you got a single vehicle hauling another vehicle. Now you're starting to get into the Class A CDL. So and it's just, more work.
What's the difference between the Class A CDL and the Class, B and C?
Yep. So Class A and Class B. Operating any single vehicle over 26,001 pounds is Class B.
Okay.
Any combination of vehicles over 26,001 pounds, where you're hauling a trailer that's over 10,001 pounds.
So that's B.
That's A.
That's A.
Yeah, when it's 2 units and that trailer over 10,001 pounds. So the simplest way to think about it, combination vehicles, Class A, is 2 vehicles. You pulling
Class
something
A, 2
else.
vehicles. Okay, you all it.
Yep. Class B is a dump truck, stuff like that. Just one single vehicle.
So let me ask you a question. So of course, one part is just the truck area, and then you got the hitch where you hitch it onto the truck.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the Class A.
That's the Class A. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Because you connect, and it may be via hitch, pintle hook, and hitch, or a fifth wheel. What we use for pretty much the semis and stuff like that.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Desmond. Trucking is often called the backbone of the economy.
Yes.
How does CMV Pros prepare students to keep America moving?
So, for me, being in the industry, over 20 years and working at some of these major companies like a FedEx, UPS Freight, United States Postal Service, just understanding what was required at them companies want excellence, man. You got to be in their face shave, uniform on, and as I'm explaining to people getting in the trucking, that it's not as sweet as people think. Yeah, you're gonna be making over $100,000 a year depending on what company you with,
right?
But you always on call. You at 7 o'clock, you calling dispatch saying, "Hey, y'all got any work for me tonight?" No, we ain't got nothing for you right now, Des. Go ahead, get you some rest. You ain't gonna even work tonight,
right?
Put on your pajamas, get in the bed with your family.
Get prepared though.
You thought you was gonna relax for the night.
Yeah.
11:30, you about to doze off, and you gotta be here within 2 hours. And if you don't answer that phone, you get written up.
Yeah.
And you might not have a job.
Right.
Now you going to work. It's your responsibility to pack a bag. You didn't know that on this trip we restricted by hours of service. You didn't know you was gonna get stuck out in Chicago or Indiana. You couldn't make it back home tonight. You out there now, you ain't got no underwear, no toothbrush.
You gotta be prepared.
You gotta be prepared. So I'm saying it sharpen you up on so many levels that you prepare for it. You ready to, dash out of town if you got to. You ready to get back home. I mean, it's teaching you to just stay on your toes, and it's a nice industry, man, that prepare you for kind of like everything. It really is. Yeah.
What's the most memorable success story from a graduate that still motivates your team today?
I got a student that graduated here in 2003, right outside in this yard. Sometimes you get students, man, and for real, even from an instructor, you be like, how the hell I'm a trainer?
They green as hell, right? I was gonna ask you that. Like, have you ever got somebody that's super green?
Everybody
green too.
Everybody, yep. But his name was Cam, and he was a good student, and he was just a little rough on the edges, just coming to class, I'm training somebody. He got a blurt in between. He didn't mean no harm by it, but he was checking students for me. Man, Des ain't teach you like that, man. You got to study your pre-trip. And I'm like, man, you got to chill, man. You got to, because students looking like, hold on. He struggled a little bit, and this just a quick story with him. We went to go to a test site, and when we went to test, he had on and this, not to go crazy about race or anything, but he had on a Black Power jacket.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, listen, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now
we in the truck.
I trained you good. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know why you want to wear that jacket right now to this test site. You gonna have a white examiner.
You already know.
I'm just letting you know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? And he ended up failing his test, failed his pre-trip inspection. And we talked about the jacket. I'm like, listen, man, that jacket now, you ain't just throwing that jacket. When you put on that jacket, that represents excellence, man. Yeah. That mean it ain't no thin line. You ain't short by a point or two. Yeah. You ain't looking for no points. When you throw that jacket on, you bringing your A game. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, that was Cameron, man. He ended up just being a great student. He finally got it. He was like about a month or two late from his expected, graduation test date and all that type of graduation date. And when I called him maybe about a month ago, he with a company called Ross Transportation. He's saying today, Des, man, thank you, man, for real. Like, you changed my life, man. I done made over $120,000 last year. He said, I'm driving a truck. It's an automatic. It's a 2025. And he like, Thank you again, man. So for me, man, that's inspiration. That just,
you doing your thing.
That motivate me. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I get my blessings. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Des, with the trucks, so you got automatic and you got manuals.
So that's an option. So all I have is manuals. I really need to update my equipment and kind of convert. I'm kind of like from the old school. So I grew up in an era where, like in trucking, if you can't shift them gears,
you in trouble.
You ain't no truck driver.
Right.
From that was the old notion. Now that's changed. Some companies like United States Postal Service, they hiring people, paying them $30 an hour with restrictions on their license. Restrictions meaning they don't know how to drive a stick shift. And the world.
But do you still got to get your CD? Is it a CDL restriction license?
Yeah. So now you have an option. You come to CMV Pros. You're going to train in my manual. It's going to be tough. Mm-hmm. But then if you don't get it, when you get to the test site, you can decide when you go to these different test sites, you can say, you know what, I'm going to rent your automatic vehicle and I'll take but whatever you test in, you stuck in. Mm. Now, if you test in a standard transmission, you can also drive an automatic, and you're more valuable when you get to these companies.
So let me ask you a question, and we're going to go to a break after this.
Yeah.
So you got a manual, you got an automatic, so it don't shift gears.
Yeah, so even in the automatic, some cars, when you look at the gears, what gear you in, even in an automatic truck, is going 1, 2, 3. And if you really listen, you will hear that vehicle revving up. Right. RPM's going up. And then when you're slowing down, you will hear it rev up and it'll drop down the gear. So it's going 1, 2, 3, 4 as you speed up. As you slow down, so now in a manual transmission, you're just doing it by yourself. Mm-hmm. But the automatic still shift gears, still have a clutch and everything else. Yeah. But it does it just automatic. It does it perfectly.
It's still giving you that signal.
Exactly.
Yep. Hey, we're going to come back with Desmond and CMV Pros. Make sure y'all stay tuned.
Yes, sir.
It's your boy Craig Dunson, Paradigm Shift Recovery Services. When the way we see the world no longer works for us, this is where the paradigm shift begins. Here at Paradigm Shift, our mission is simple: to ensure that no person seeking recovery from mental health and substance use disorder need die without ever having had a chance to find a better way of life. Here, as Paradigm Shift Recovery Services, this is where the theory of recovery meets the practice of recovery. This is where we show you how to live through programs like psychotherapy, med management, medically assisted treatment, mental health and SUD case management, outpatient treatment, peer recovery support that is available 24 hours, 7 days a week. By who? People who are actually in the process of recovery. Authenticity is what we thrive on here. Authenticity is what we offer. So please, let us get into the trenches with you, no matter how hard it is right now, no matter how hopeless it may look. There is a better tomorrow, and sometimes we have to let go the illusion that somehow yesterday should have been better. So if you let us help you today, we can help you get to a better tomorrow. My name is Craig. I'm looking for you. 216-273-6888. Give me a call. Let's get this started. The time is now.
If you're seeking recovery and feeling alone, looking for a suit that fits you just right, Martin's Menswear got you covered day and night. From dapper hats, the stylish gators and lizards too. We got everything a man like you could ever want to. Martin's Manswear, the place for a man to be. Suits, hats, gators, lizards, we got it all, you see. Step into the store, let us dress you to the nines. At Martin's Manswear, you'll always look so fine. Whether you're dressing for a work event or a special event, Martin's Manswear got a perfect outfit for every gent. With top-notch customer service and high-quality attire, you'll always leave our store feeling confident and inspired. Martin's Manswear, the place for a man to be. Suits, hats, gators, lizards, we got it all, you see. Step into our store and let us dress you to the nine. At Martin's Manswear, you'll always look so fine. So come on down to Martin's Manswear today and let us dress you in every way. Yo, we back with Desmond Wilson, owner of CMV Pros Trucking School.
Yes, sir.
Can you give us a funny moment that happened during a training session that was unexpected, man? Like that you didn't think was gonna happen, and you like, what the?
So
what is this?
So I'm gonna tell you, man. This guy was actually. And this involved the student Cam, who I was just telling you about. So yeah. I had a guy who, I ain't gonna say his name, but he really planted a seed in my business. You know what I'm saying? The type of business he was into before, and I was new to all of this. All this time I just been thinking, man, you work hard, you work as hard as you can, you stack up your money,
yeah, and
you come on out, you buy your business, or you get your business started. Not really realizing how people leverage credit or leverage other people, leverage investors and stuff like that. So he planted a seed, put 25 grand in my business, and had me, we came up with something where I was, paying back and came up with an arrangement. So that was really how I got started with my business. A year later, I wasn't really able to do the return like I really needed to. I was struggling. Business didn't go the way that I wanted. So one thing that we did was, hey, and he was real flexible with me. Yeah. So he like, you know what? It's cool because I'm transitioning as well, and I'm going to come to your school and do some training.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that worked out perfectly.
Full circle moment, right?
Yeah, that worked out perfectly.
Now, even though I'm rolling, and it was just getting to the point where I was going to start having funding, so this right before I'm about to, the money finna start coming in.
Yeah.
My first class, the money ain't came yet, but it's set up and it's prepped up. It's on the way. But we bonding. I mean, it's probably with the excitement, you know what I'm saying? This is my best training. There's 4 of us out there. Man, we going to save a lot on lunch. We eating together.
Yeah.
We grinding together. So it's nothing like a class like that when everybody care about each other. Everybody making sure everybody
trying to make sure that everybody go pass this test.
And then here he come. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Now, people don't know, our business arrangement and stuff like that. And he from Connecticut, so he almost give you that New York feel, the way he talk, the way, they real short, they ain't got time, they
extra
talk
aggressive.
Real crazy, you know what I'm saying? And he just not really, new to trucking, he's struggling. You know what I'm saying? He having a hard time. Man, he slamming my truck doors.
Hold on, bro.
Ain't nothing his fault. Everything is the truck fault. Man, raggedy ass trucks, he going crazy. To the point it's the very first student.
Yeah.
Man, me and him to have some words. I'm talking about
tripping,
because as an instructor, you got to be calm, you got to be cool.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about each slam on my doors. I could tell by the way he hitting the gas and jerking my truck.
Yeah.
He dogging me. I'm taking it personal.
He feeling a certain type
and my
of way.
students ain't saying nothing, so now they getting quiet. Man, and I blew a gasket. I'm just like, listen, man. you talking about these trucks raggedy as hell, they ain't working. Look at the success though. Look at everybody. If you take a step back sometime and just get out the truck and take a look, watch what everybody else is doing. Look at the harmony out here. It's peaceful.
Yeah.
We chilling.
You a wild card.
You killing the vibe. You know what I'm saying? And me and him just kind of had that moment. And it's like I say, you always on a journey with your students, just learning their behavior. But each thing is a learning experience, But I got out my hookup. I had to apologize because I'm yelling, you know what I'm saying? And we just going at it. We kind of just having some words like men do. And my student Cam like, Des, we got a problem, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't even give you the backstory about him. You know, his cousin is a good friend of mine. So so now he in town. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure he's safe and all that type of stuff. But I'm responsible for him as well. Yeah. So my student Cam like that. We got a problem? Like, we can handle it. I'm like, oh, you chill.
You gotta get that dude.
You know what I'm saying? And he like, let me get out of here before I have to hurt somebody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just, hold on. Hey, ain't nobody going nowhere. We all gonna work it out.
We gonna get this together, man.
We gonna get it together.
You gonna learn and you gonna chill over here.
And we gonna make it happen.
Right.
And, you know, eventually he ended up getting it. I was able to return that investment to him, plus the on top. You know, it was. So he got his CDL out the deal and his bread back. Probably still short from what the original arrangement was, but it worked out on all of us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And to this day,
that was a good thing. I know that felt good.
And to this day, me and him talk. You know what I'm saying? Me and him still talk. We check in with each other, and he out grinding.
Let me ask you that.
With his trucking business. Telling
he started a trucking business.
He went right, but he was already a money guy, so he already understood business. But even business people get into trucking thinking I'm smarter than these truck drivers.
No, that ain't got nothing to do with that.
See, the notion out here is that truck drivers not that smart. That's what a lot of people think about. Man, truck drivers are attorneys, ex-police officers, ex-military. You know what I'm saying? Guys that's really just trying to turn up fast. You know, but you got to get yourself in there. But like I said, I seen him make a few mistakes buying new vehicles and also hearing him like, oh, I got it figured out right now. Now I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I just need maybe one more truck or one more thing from turning this whole thing around. So, man, that's the beauty and the blessing for me is that, you know, I ain't no millionaire where I need to be at yet. Yeah. But we damn sure close, you know what I'm saying?
You helping people get there.
From just seeing the success of people and just the energy that we building with each other, it's like just a strong network, man. You know what I'm saying? Dope. It really is. So I'm thankful for that.
Is it a certain age that you think people should get in trucking? Do you think that is an age limit that they shouldn't, or is it an age where you should start?
So the beauty of trucking is I've had students from 18 years old up to maybe about 65 years old, you know. So that's the real range. What you see is the young people, they learn so fast, so easy that they don't look like they're humble. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling the student who getting it all fast, I'm like, damn, you can't make it.
Don't be like me.
You know, they hopping out
of your truck and hit something.
You know what I'm saying? They hopping out real fast, and then the older guys, you know, want to hate a little bit. They just like, I've been doing this for 3 weeks. This young buck then came here. So, you know, but the older people are they don't want to mess up. They're very patient. They're very slow, but they're just not seeing what they need to see, and then until it click, you know. So all ages, man. You cannot lead a state wherever you get your CDL at. You are not allowed to lead a state if you're under the age of 21. So so start as early as you can. Get your CDL at 18, even if it's like kids and stuff. Young adults. It's going to make you such a better driver. Class
when
D.
You have to get out here on that road.
Exactly. Like just learning about trucks. People in the truck been driving on the road for 20, 30 years in a car, and now they like that. I never understood what that line mean when it say stop here on red. Yeah. Stop way back here. Yeah. I never realized that trucks need all that extra room. So it just raised your awareness for the road and everything else. And but it's no age limit, but you do start getting into things as we get older in age and we start, being diagnosed with diabetes or, high blood pressure, stuff like that. Now that's what's cutting.
You can't really sit down that long.
Things like that. But that's what's affecting drivers as they start to get a little bit up in age. That's what's retiring drivers, and
so I know street truck driving got to be a lot different from long highway driving.
Yeah.
So, and can you tell me what the difference is?
Yeah. So the difference is, in the majority of your opportunities, when you very first get your CDL, a lot of local companies won't touch you, but a lot of the over the road companies will. They call that OTR, over the road. Those companies will give you an opportunity, and again, Sometimes they'll accept you with restrictions. People call you just a steering wheel holder. You just holding that steering wheel, but you get on the highway, you drive. You always on the road. In a day, you may only back up twice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
you're going forward.
You may have been doing that for 6 years.
Wow.
You really don't know how to back up. Okay. Now this person who just started out in the city, we in Cleveland. We coming around here to pulling in a lot the wrong way. You done had to back up 18 times a day. Yeah. You probably gonna tear something up if you don't know what you're doing. It's red lights, you backing up in the middle of a red light before people get to move. You doing all type of crazy stuff out in the city. So I always feel like driving over the road builds up your tolerance and help you learn how to pack a bag and kind of plan efficiently. Okay, but city drivers, they know how to deal with the mess, how to back up.
Mad is a truck driving.
But they probably ain't know. As soon as they start yawning out, they get out on the highway, they done. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference.
How do somebody stay awake that long on them highway rides?
It's only one way, and it's get you some rest.
Right.
There ain't no magic trick with the with the Monster drinks and all that type of stuff.
All that stuff gonna crash.
Everybody trying every different thing, but the good old fashioned get you some rest. When you get tired, get off that highway, man. That's all you can do. So rest is going to be your best friend. And you start learning how to really just, take care of your body and eat right and everything else. So, but it's all centered around getting proper rest.
So do you have, is it just you that's an instructor, or do you have a team?
Yeah, so I got about 2 other instructors with me. But I really have to build up my team, and I've been CMV Pros have been my baby, and like all entrepreneurs, you struggle when you hold it close to the point that you kind of striving for perfection, but you gotta let it go, because I need to be doing other things like securing contract training.
Gotta open it up.
My goal and my dream is to be doing training for Pepsi or Coca-Cola and being flown all across the U.S. handling their training. So. Sometimes, man, and students can take a lot out of you. Sometimes you out there, a student not getting it, they pissed off, they draining your energy as well. Y'all just not feeling each other. You still got a goal that's got to get done, but I'm giving one person my energy when I know I got the capacity for 20. You know what I'm saying? When I know I can get 20 going. Yeah. And get them on their way.
It just be a money cow.
Yeah.
What qualities do your instructors bring to the table that make them stand out in this industry?
You have to understand who you're training. Okay, so historically, because I worked at all of the places, I worked at Great Lakes, I worked at Tri-C, I worked at a lot of the schools in the area. But you got to understand, man, just some places are not that diverse. So when you working with, let's just say the majority of if 85% of your students are African American, it's probably a good idea to have at least an African American instructor there to deal with the people. Because it's just everybody have to learn how to say the right thing. Hey, boy, we already know how a black student gonna take that, or sometimes I'm dealing with students that may have been in prison and stuff like that. So, boy, that just triggered them.
I was just working with a construction company, because I got a paint company myself.
Right.
And I went out and did some, and just real short, and I went out and did some grouting work for a school. And these guys was from Indiana.
Okay.
So dude, like, the kids, y'all kids over there. I'm like, kids?
You see what I'm saying?
I don't see no kids around.
And you gotta understand,
I got immediately offended though.
For sure. But I'm saying when it comes to, I learned a lot from being an instructor, from just sitting back and watching.
Yeah.
The first thing that I'm dealing with, I'm 40 now, but 10 years ago as an instructor, I looked at a little younger, you know what I'm saying? So the first thing was young people like, man, this young black dude can't teach me nothing. So we had to get through that first. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Then we had to get through the hate. We had to get through the hate of the other instructor saying, and he really don't know what the hell he doing. Them putting a little dirt, a little smut on my name and everything else. But once you get through all of that, now we start learning. Once we get through all that noise, now all of a sudden we can start training and start learning. And now they like, damn, Des, you ain't that bad at all. And I'm transparent. I'm not like one of those. Everybody, I got 3 million miles safe, never had an accident. I'm like, hey man, my very first day out, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I tore something up.
Hit something.
So when I tell it, they like, what? I'm like, listen, man, my first 3 years, I was shaking in my boots, man.
Everything I drove.
My very first 3 years, it was a struggle.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, man. With the training part of it, do you have to take a special class for that? Is it some special hours that you got to actually put into the truck driving business besides being a regular truck, just a truck driver in general?
No. So everybody do the same training. So this don't matter if you're gonna be hauling flatbeds, cars, whatever. See, like this is the disclaimer for me as well. I'm a trainer, but I never worked for RTA. I never drove a bus.
Yeah.
You know, I have those endorsements. I can train bus drivers and all of that. But I've never drove a school bus for a school district.
Okay.
So I tell everybody, you gotta, and this for all instructors, all trainers, no matter what company they're at, you have to respect the industry. I got people that's calling me to say, Des, I need you to train. I got 2 guys that's gonna be driving my dump truck. Train them on my equipment. Cool, I'll train them. But I still have to come and respect these guys, teach them how to operate this vehicle, the driving part safely, but I don't know how to operate the boom on the truck.
Yeah.
And make that bed come up and go down.
That ain't your specialty.
That's a skill of its own. So everybody have to understand that you really come into trucking school just to get your license.
Okay.
And I struggle with that. I'm like, what you mean, man? We supposed to be making excellent drivers. We preparing them to pass their tests.
Yeah.
And get them to pass that entry-level driving test when they get with the company. Once you're with the company is going to show you specifically
how to hitch stuff,
how to dump their truck, how to clear out the bed, things that I don't understand.
That's so totally different from what you do.
So I'm coming to places, I'm going to train y'all, but I got to gain y'all respect, but I also got to give y'all credit to say, hey, y'all going to be teaching me stuff as well. I don't know how to handle this equipment. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I can show you how to drive it, but I can't show you how to, handle all these different controls and stuff like that.
Hey, how does CMV Pros partner with local Cleveland businesses or community to create opportunities? Well, you just told us.
You know what? But that's what I'm working on now, and I'm guilty of that. See, I get so caught out in the field. I haven't, been following up and doing what I need to do. But I did talk to a contact at I'm gonna just say one of the local high schools here. They have cosmetology. They got maybe like an auto tech program. And as we was talking about commercial driving, having a CDL. That was the perfect opportunity where I just got to sit down with some of the directors and stuff and come up with a game plan to see how we can incorporate that.
What's one myth about trucking careers that you wish people would stop believing in?
We talked about one, just thinking that truckers are not that smart and not that educated.
Okay, yeah.
That's one thing. It's no longer what you think it. In the past, you might have thought a truck driver looked more like Santa Claus. You might have thought he was white, had a big belly, get out the truck. Man. Nowadays, it ain't no telling.
You might have
male,
you got
woman.
Female,
you might see a pregnant woman getting out.
Yeah,
she's beautiful.
Yeah.
You might see a lady getting out in a dress and heels. It's kind of a little bit buck wild right now.
It's wide open.
The common footwear is like sandals. Let's get back to still having on some sturdy shoes, man, some closed-toe shoes, some boots.
Slip out that truck.
You know what I'm saying? So it's getting a little crazy out there. You're seeing drivers with more jewelry on and stuff like that, and you know what I'm saying? You ain't understanding the way you look.
It might not be more commercialized.
It might not be nothing in that truck, but the way you look, you finna get the whole shipment robbed. Just by how you present yourself. So
is that a thing?
Oh, that's a thing. That's the thing locally as well. When you're dealing with like Amazon, FedEx, the post office, man, some of these neighborhoods ain't sweet. All they doing
it ain't Mayberry.
They on the block, they chilling all day, so they see you coming, they see you. If you leave that truck unlocked, man, you come back, might not be nothing in that truck.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's been a lot of drivers that got hit upside the head and robbed and different things. So, but don't be no superhero.
Let them have it.
You better let them have it.
You better let them have it because they don't let you have it.
And you might get fired if you beat the person up and you might get fired for that.
Pull your gun out.
Any of that. Any of that. So, just do what you got to do. Make it home to your family safe. And that's the most important thing, man. That's what I, stress.
Yeah. For someone unsure about trucking, what makes CMV Pros training program unique compared to other schools?
That I'm going to keep it real with them.
Yeah.
I talked to somebody, a young lady. She said, "I've been in my job for 12 years. I make $25 an hour. I've been thinking about getting in the truck." I said, "Why you thinking that? you make $25 an hour. You've been on your job for 12. You know, the first 2-3 years out here, you might not make that.
Oh, really?
You know what I'm saying? You might be lucky and get it, but it might not be.
It depends on your driving.
It depends on your driving. It depends on just you. Period. It just depends on your personality. If you the right fit for a company.
If you can stay up,
all of that. But just understand, you leaving a comfortable situation. You 12 years in. You might have 18 more years to go. You're making $25 an hour plus probably OT. You know, you might not be that comfortable getting your seat. So when I keep it real with them, I'm like, listen, I'm not. I need all.
I ain't trying to deter you,
and that's my problem. Now I be so keeping it real. Sometimes I be losing money. Sometimes you know what I'm saying.
You like
I need to be quiet.
Do you really want some of this?
But you know, again though, by me. That's just one less argument I'm going to have with a student later on, man. Let me go on here and now I give it to them straight so they can't never say I ain't told them something.
Yeah.
And I done had a couple times where the student wasn't successful, where a student feel like, you know, I didn't get him the proper training and they called the state on me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was kind of deep for me because one thing about it, I'm most definitely always going above and beyond of helping a person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
How do you handle that type of pressure?
I'm a natural problem solver. I'm a natural underdog. So this is my community, stuff like that. So when people, if you give me a good story, you know what I'm saying, sell me on it, we're going to find a way to try to make it work for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But again, what I'm learning is you gotta invest in your own career and your own self, you know. So people are more prone to help you. That if you'll put up $100, $1,000, tuition $62.50, what you got on your own future? $50? Nothing. If you ain't got nothing on your $62.50, I can't help you.
So do they do you? It ain't no financial aid.
It is. It's funding. It's sources like Ohio Means Jobs and different things like that. As a company, you may have to be set up with these different entities as a vendor. Some I am, some I'm not. We were awarded some funding through Ohio Department of Higher Education. So we got that grant for the past 3 years. So when students call, it's hard trying to weed out who got money and who don't. That's where it get a little, complicated because people can be sitting there with all kind of money and they like ain't no grants and stuff, and
they don't want to pay.
So it's hard to separate who got the money. So it's a little bit of a struggle for the business.
What's the qualifications to get funded?
The qualification for funding through Ohio Department of Higher Education is no more than 3 moving violations in the past 24 months, no DUIs in the past 12 months, an Ohio resident. Understanding that once you 60 days from graduating, you have to verify employment. You have to maintain that employment as a truck driver for at least 1 year, and they'll forgive your loan, your portion of the loan. Okay, and it's probably a few other things too that I'm missing, but that's the bulk of it. You got to have a clean driving record, no DUIs in the past 12 months, and you got to be committed and ready, and just understanding what the assignment is. And believe it or not, the very first year, we did 14 grants for everybody. Students didn't have to put down no money. It was just free CDL training. Out of 14 people, maybe 5 people did what they were supposed to do.
For free?
For free. $6,250, okay? Maybe 5 people. Now, I know maybe 9 of them all got their CDLs and got jobs.
Yeah.
All they had to do was verify it the first time within 60 days and verify it a year later. And what I'm saying is schools are struggling to keep up with these students because once they get what they need, they're not even following up and say, okay, I work at such and such. It's so many schools that's losing money from these different entities that we're talking about just because not only are they giving us funding, they want to know that is the student getting a CDL, or are they getting a job, and are you verifying that they're getting a job? So that's a lot when you're chasing these. Man, I'm dealing with just a struggling student. That consumes me.
Yeah.
Now you got to check with a student graduated a year ago, make sure he got a job, make sure he's doing what he got to do. And
is that your responsibility?
As a school, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
But it's the student's responsibility to not be owing Ohio Attorney General for some funding that they had when it would have been free if you just sent the email.
Yeah. So you got to stay on. So y'all got to stay on top of y'all game out there. You know what I mean? Y'all can't be slipping.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Y'all got to make sure y'all sending in them emails, that paperwork that you need to send in so that you can keep your job.
Exactly.
Or you don't have to pay that money out your pocket.
Yep.
You know, and making my man look bad over here.
Hey, man.
You know what I'm saying? How can you ensure graduates are prepared for emerging trends like electric trucks and autonomous tech?
To be honest, man, to me, that's like the unknown. These autonomous vehicles, stuff like that. You know, these students going to have to stay sharp on their computer skills and stuff like that.
And do you have to update your skills at all?
I do as well, so I'm always training. I'm always trying to find something. The state offer different courses and stuff like that, and I'm just a natural looking for the next thing anyway, so I'm always trying to, you know, stay up on the latest technology and stuff. But you got to understand, the technology is coming in to phase us out. That's just what it is. So all that stuff about what people don't want to do and, you know, a new class of 10 people, hey, who want to go over the road? You got one person, maybe 2 people raising their hand. That's 90% of the opportunities that y'all gonna have. How you getting in trucking and you ain't flexible?
Yeah, you gotta be flexible, especially in trucking.
Yeah, all right, so I don't want to go over the road. Oh, you're gonna stay local, so you want to be doing pickup and delivery. You probably don't mind, you know, going into Walmart and taking Coca-Cola bottles in and all of that. Nah, man, I ain't trying to do that either. Well, damn, what you want to do? Because I mean, I don't know what you're here for. Man.
So let me ask you this: so you can get a trucking job, and then you might have to unload that truck.
Yes.
Or you can get a trucking job where you just dropping off that load.
Yeah, and they call it no touch freight. You know, so they'll sell you on this job is no touch. Sometimes you're gonna want to touch that freight to get up out of there. No touch might mean you got 6 hours. You
got to sit there.
You touch it, you might get up out of here in 2.5. What you want to do?
Yeah. So sometimes no touch, you might have to just sit there and wait.
You're gonna wait. You're gonna wait. You're gonna wait whether you touching the freight or not, because that's what this industry is. It's very wasteful. There's a lot going on in this industry that, you know, it's very wasteful, because what I'm saying is, not only do I don't think truck drivers are smart, but we don't value your time. You know what I'm saying? You done draw down here for 11 hours or whatever, and now you sitting, but just sit, man.
Yeah.
You'll be all right. Yeah, don't worry about it. I ain't got no other load to get you back in town today, but just sit. Now, they don't want to pay you for sitting. You know, you like, hey, man, you're on a meter from the town. For me to leave
nobody gets paid for sitting?
Not really. Not
it's
in the
very
industry.
Rare, huh?
It's very rare. It's very rare. Yeah.
Hey, we'll be back with Desmond, CMV Pros. Make sure y'all stay tuned to this TopTv.
This your boy Craig Dunson, Paradigm Shift Recovery Services. When the way we see the world no longer works for us, this is where the paradigm shift begins. Here at Paradigm Shift, our mission is simple: to ensure that no person seeking recovery from mental health and substance use disorder need die without ever having had a chance to find a better way of life. Here, as Paradigm Shift Recovery Services, this is where the theory of recovery meets the practice of recovery. This is where we show you how to live through programs like psychotherapy, med management, medically assisted treatment, mental health and SUD case management, outpatient treatment, peer recovery support that is available 24 hours, 7 days a week. By who? People who are actually in the process of recovery. Authenticity is what we thrive on here. Authenticity is what we offer. So please, let us get into the trenches with you, no matter how hard it is right now, no matter how hopeless it may look. There is a better tomorrow, and sometimes we have to let go the illusion that somehow yesterday should have been better. So if you let us help you today, we can help you get to a better tomorrow. My name is Craig. I'm looking for you. 216-273-6888. Give me a call. Let's get this started. The time is now.
If you're seeking recovery, looking for a suit that fits you just right, Martin's Menswear got you covered day and night. From dapper hats to stylish gators and lizards too, we got everything a man like you could ever want too. Martin's Manswear, the place for a man to be. Suits, hats, gators, lizards, we got it all, you see. Step into the store, let us dress you to the nines. At Martin's Manswear, you'll always look so fine. Whether you're dressing for a work event or a special event, Martin's Manswear got a perfect outfit for every gent. With top-notch customer service and a quality attire, you'll always leave our store feeling confident and inspired. Martin's Manswear, the place for a man to be. Suits, hats, gators, lizards, we got it all, you see. Step into our store and let us dress you to the nine. At Martin's Manswear, you'll always look so fine. So come on down to Martin's Manswear today and let us dress you in every way. Yo, we back with CMV Pros, Desmond Wilson. CMV Pros Trucking School, man. You know, if you're looking to be a truck driver, if you're looking to learn the ins and outs of trucking, you know, you want to get with Desmond here at 17325 Euclid Avenue. Tap in with CMV Pros, or you can at him on Instagram.
Yep.
And all the information is on there where you can get at him and get on your road to success, man.
Yep. And I'm going to share that real quick, too. So the website is www.cmvpros.com, and the Instagram is CMV_pros. That's my Instagram handle.
Right there on the screen, right there.
Yep.
That's that Instagram handle.
Appreciate that.
Hey, shout out to Paradigm Shift Recovery. If you need help with mental health, alcoholism, things like that, if you suffer from those things, drug abuse, things like that, get with my man Craig Dunson, Paradigm Shift Recovery. He can help you out. He's also located here at 17325 Euclid Avenue. Also, shout out to Martin's Manswear, one of my sponsors. They're on 185th, right over in the Lakeshore area, right over in the Collinwood district. You can go over there and get fitted, man. They got furs, they got hats, they got everything you need, everything a man could want, you know, to wear and get fresh. You know what I mean? Also, shout out to Boss Botanicals. Make sure y'all go to Boss. Let me make sure I get this right. I don't want to mess it up. Where we at? Make sure y'all go to bossitup.biz. And so bossitup.biz got a lot of different things going on. Shantae, Amber Kelly, Michael Kelly, they got a lot of different things going on. But one thing they got going on right now is they got online dispensary. You know, they got CBD products, they got THC products, they got different products for holistic wellness. It ain't just about getting high, folks. It's about holistic wellness. Sometimes you might not even want to deal with the THC. You might want to get the CBD rub-ons or gummies, things like that. If you need to stay up or go to sleep, or you know you got things for health benefits. So you want to tap in to bossitup.biz and check in with Michael Kelly, Shantae Kelly, because they got the products that you need. Like I said, we here with Desmond Wilson, CMV Pros, and I got another good question for you, man. Mm-hmm. What's one piece of advice you give to someone nervous about starting trucking school?
Excuse me. One thing about starting a school it's a big money pit. You know, it's a lot required up top because up front, because vehicles are not cheap. So as soon as they start, if you just start, I'm gonna start a school. All right, man, I got to start off with just 2 trucks. 2 trucks, you might be looking at $40,000 to $50,000, and that's on the low end of used equipment. One brand new truck can be upwards of $150,000. So, you know, it's just important that you find the right consultant or the right person to kind of lead you into opening up a school. So, you know, I do that as well. So in the state of Ohio,
I consult people.
Yep, I'm a consultant, and then in the state of Ohio, I am what we call a training manager. So if anybody in the state of Ohio want to open up a school, you have to attend new school orientation down in Columbus through Ohio Department of Public Safety, and then they're gonna tell you that you can't operate your school until you have a training manager. And then they'll share a list of training managers. I'm putting it out there now that I'm a training manager, so if anybody's looking to open up a school, you know, contact me. I mean, don't call me if you right around the corner, man, and you trying to be my direct competitor. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, people be walking in, I'm gonna open up a school next door, man. What's up,
man?
Like,
no,
come on,
man.
You know, but
Storage in Garfield, man.
Yeah, you know, give me 20 miles or so, man. We can make some shake. So it's all good.
How can viewers connect with CNV Pros if they want to learn more or enroll?
CNVpros.com, www.cnvpros.com. On Instagram, CNV_pros. You can connect with me there. Telephone number is 866-268-7767. So you can call us anytime. 866-268-7767. That's the number to CNV Pros. And
tap in.
Yep, tap in with us, man. Connect with us. One thing I just want people to think about. Sometimes in life you need to transition. You just need to switch up what you got going on.
Yeah. What you said that number was?
That number is 866-268 7767.
7767.
Yep.
All right.
That's 866 CNV Pros.
There you go, right there on there you go, right there on the screen. 866-268-7767.
Yep.
Make sure y'all tap in.
Yep. One thing people got to think about as you're trying to transition. You help me out. I can't think of no other field that you can study for about 4 weeks and then be in position to be making $50,000, $60,000 a year. I can't think of nothing.
I can't think of one.
Nursing, maybe, you know, but you're gonna be in school for about 2.5 years, and then you'll be out making that money.
Yeah.
So it's really the sweetest thing in the world. You know, it's where else can felons be hired? You can be fresh out of jail. I got a couple guys that's been coming from the halfway house, stuff like that. These guys out here moving and they shaking and they making things happen. So trucking is like that. You know, trucking is to me, trucking is, you use trucking to just kind of, you know, build up your finances, get yourself together, and then you branch out. You don't have to be doing trucking forever. And when you come get your CDL, you may not really see a future as a driver, you know, but you're still a safety supervisor. You're still a dispatch. You can
use it for all different fields of trucking.
Yeah, you can do so many different things.
What felony can't you have if you were in the trucking field? If you're trying to get into the trucking field?
To be honest with you, and I hate to say it, but man, people want these. They so desperate for truck drivers, man. You can damn near do anything, man. I hate to say that you can have a rape case
because really you like a soloist,
you know, and I
it ain't like you got to be working around a lot of people.
No, for sure. And I don't want to knock people who may have had prior things in their life and now they're a changed person. But what I'm saying is, they don't give a damn what you got going on, man. Can you drive a truck? You got a CDL? Thank you. Let's go. You can start the night. I mean, that's how some of these companies are.
That's what's up, man. Yeah. So it ain't no. So I don't want to hear. Oh, I just got out of jail, man. I can't find. No, you can be a truck driver.
Yeah.
And you can make tons of money being a truck driver. You just got to apply yourself.
That's a fact. And realize that the state of Ohio is doing things. The governor is spending money, got grants available. So it's not a free thing. Like for my school with the Ohio Department of Higher Education grant, a student is required to put down $2,500. We require that. CNV Pros require a student to put down $2,500, and then we'll use the other $3,750 from the Ohio Department of Higher Education to get them a Class A CDL. So that's, you know, and we did that because, again, it used to be free for no money down. you use their funding, but people just kind of disrespected the program. So we have to see that you're serious. So you got to meet us kind of close to the halfway mark, you know, and go from there.
What does CMV stand for?
CMV Pros stands for commercial. Wait, let me get it right. CMV Pros. Oh, I'm sorry. Commercial Motor Vehicle Professionals. That's what CMV Pros stand for. So CMV, that's what we call a vehicle that's over 10,001 pounds is a commercial motor vehicle pros professionals. But I was thinking about the acronym CMV Pros in a way that I got it. You know, CMV Pros, I want you to, so that's our goal when you come to CMV Pros. We want you to be confident maneuvering the vehicle while protecting, respecting, and operating safely.
Oh,
so that's how. That's where I got a little
confused.
That's
the slogan. That's the slogan.
Yep.
How did you come up with that name?
Just being creative, man. You know, I used to rap and stuff like that, playing with words. You know, so that's kind of like my thing. You know, but you know, we want to. Hey, come to CMV Pros, man. We're gonna get you confident maneuvering that vehicle. You're gonna protect that vehicle, protect the motoring public. You're gonna respect it, and we want you operating safely. So
that's dope. That's dope. What's the quirkiest thing about trucking culture that people might not expect?
You know what? You lose a little bit, man. When you by yourself, you sit in that truck. You know, it's like, for example, you would think a driver, he's been driving for 30 years. He gonna be a great instructor. This guy been by himself for 30 years in that truck. He might be a little freaky. He might have his own thing going on, but he almost don't even know how to handle himself around people no more. He done lost. You know, we so social.
He a loner at that.
That's exactly what you can end up being, and you can end up being, you know, so distant from your family. It's so rough because it's a rough thing on your family. You got to think, man. It's some, you know, depending on relationships, man, you might be away from your partner for 6 weeks at a time, 8 weeks at a time. I don't like that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Is that why you chose to be an instructor?
That's why I try to do something else and come up off of that road, because just family, you know, my kids, they're getting a little bit older and stuff now. Two of my kids are grown. The other two are in high school. But it was rough on them younger years, man. And then, you know, as you get in your own head, you be out there sometime, like, your whole family at home sleep. You like, damn, man, they don't even appreciate, you know, I'm out here by myself. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody cool.
You starting to feel a little envy towards your family. You losing your mind out here, man. You know what I'm saying?
You don't know what the wife doing.
Hey, you don't know what's going on. So that's got to be, you know, intact as well, you know.
If you could take a road trip anywhere in one of your training trucks, where would you go and why?
You know what? I would like to take my truck to one of like the truck shows. People tell me it's like a big one, maybe in Indiana. I forget where they actually are. But just to really, you know, take a truck, go down, and you see these guys that's not only are they investing in their trucks, they putting on light shows and got rims and sounds all in their vehicles. But these are real vehicles that they're out making money in as well. So you know how we might put $50,000-$60,000 into an old school.
You know same thing with the truck.
Same thing with the truck, but they might have made $1 million off of theirs. They ain't playing. You know, they ain't did it to just ride up and down St. Clair and Euclid. They out here chasing money and having a ball. So when you think about us, think about how creative we are and what we're doing with these cars. Imagine if you spent 20 and bought the truck, you know, put another 25 into it, made it look nice. You're still showing off and doing everything you want to do, and you're making money at the same time.
That's dope.
It's perfect for the hustlers and the street guys, and it's right there for us.
That's dope. What's your favorite Cleveland landmark or route to teach new drivers?
I like routes I like being on the west side, Brook Park Road. I like the roads where you can drive for about 8 to 10 miles just a straightaway. When I get a student, when we first started driving, they'd be a little nervous. So we can ride Euclid almost. I don't want to go all the way down by Case and University and all that, but we can ride Euclid all the way up, out Euclid. And they could just all I need y'all to do is we're going to stay in this lane and we're going to practice shifting gears and stuff like that, because you want to get that down before we start making lane changes and turning at intersections and stuff.
Is that one of the hardest things for people to learn, like changing lanes and turning and stuff like that?
With trucking, the hardest thing to teach people, is teaching them how to shift, because you got to have a little rhythm. You know what I'm saying? And people ain't got, people really don't be having, I'm probably not the best dancer, but from shifting, you got to, you got to be able to move your foot and your hand at the same time. You know what I'm saying? You got to have your hand
coordination.
You got to have it. So you got to have that when you shifting, because you got to learn how to double clutch.
Hand, eye, foot coordination.
People get all the way to trucking and realize they got a bum knee. You know what I'm saying?
And you gotta keep moving that boy, don't you?
Yep. So, you gotta be able to. You gotta have you some rhythm, and you just gotta be teachable, man. Some people are not. They just tune you out.
Yeah.
You know, I got a guy shifting, he having a hard time. He got a damn vape in his hand. You gotta put the vape down, man, and get this, man. God damn, put the vape down, man.
You gotta put the vape down, man. And pick up the 100,000.
Come on, man. We stalling out in the middle of traffic and your phone ring. I'm looking because I know damn well you ain't about to touch this phone. You gotta start this truck back up and get us rolling. They want to take a call. I'm damn near about to kick somebody out of school, man. If you don't put that phone up, man,
lose your tuition.
You know, so stuff like that, man.
What do you see? Where do you see CMV Pros in 5 years, and any big goals or expansions on the horizon?
To be honest with y'all, man, like I say, I love Cleveland. I love the hood. I've been around, grew up in East Cleveland, all that stuff. Been around Garfield Heights and everything. But you know what, man? It's funny, like, you know, having a business here. I think the appreciation, we don't appreciate our people all like that. Mm-hmm. Look at the convenience. I'm right on the bus. You can catch the bus and come to trucking school. I'm right here. I'm right on the corner of Euclid and London Road. Everybody can see me. But you know, people appreciate it when you out, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, I have to transition because I have to serve more people. I can't just be down here struggling with 1 and 2 students when I know I got the capacity for a company to get 100 students trained. You know what I'm saying? And it's something about, you know, again, you can pay your money and it's a service, so you can come here. So it's the illusion that everybody is going to be successful in trucking, and that's not always the case. You can pay your money, but this is not for everybody.
How many times can you fail the class before? I don't want to. How many chances do you get, rather?
How many hours do you get?
Yeah, how many hours do you get before they say you houred out?
When you come to CMV Pros, you're going to get 80 hours. You're going to get 40 hours in the classroom. You're going to get 40 hours to do the skills. I tell everybody that up front. Now, everybody, out of those 40 hours, 30 of them is just backing up the truck. I'm saving 10 to take you out on the road. Okay? Now, that first 30 hours, some people might get straight line backing in 3 hours. Half of the first day, they might be good. Boom. I done seen somebody almost take 20 hours on straight line backing. I got a bunch of other skills to show you. I got to teach you how to start cranking that trailer, doing the offset, doing the parallel part, doing the alley dock, you know, and
is it more money?
Yeah, so you tell them up front, you let them know what's going on, and you going to be fair. Like, once a person spend $6,000, man, they your student. No matter how you really, you're going to be fighting somebody. You kick them out after they done gave you $6,000. So you
really 80 up though.
Yeah, so it's tight for the school.
So you got to be fair.
You got to be fair, but I'm saying as a school, you're always giving a little bit more. Yeah. But you just don't. When you realize a person don't appreciate it, we done.
If you done went to 120 and ain't got it, and you tripping in here, you got to pay a little bit more.
If you done went to 120, you got to start to consider that this might not be the thing for you. So you might have to go. All right, instead of going manual transmission, you might want to go automatic. Class A might not be the thing.
That school might be a lot more though. Huh?
You might have to go Class B. Yeah, it started to get price per hour after a certain point. That was just the training.
Yeah.
Now you done went and failed your tests. Now you done failed 2 tests. Now you done failed 3 tests. Now you hitting your school back up saying, "Hey, Des, I need more training." That's where I'm like, man, remember you was dozing off in class, man, and you wasn't doing your thing, and now I can bring you back. I'm gonna have to charge you about an hour. You were my prior student, so I'm trying to give you a discount. But remember you dogged me out and told me my training ain't shit and everything else?
Yeah.
What's the point of you coming back? You done told me you don't like my training.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you
maybe
gotta just remember,
might be for you.
You gotta remember that, So I get calls from students from other schools. It's just a circle, man. It's a circle of all of us doing the same thing. But, I just tell students, man, come in with the right attitude. You don't know nothing. Just act like you don't know nothing.
Be a baby.
And just be a sponge. Soak it up. Come in with that empty toolbox. Let us put some tools in there. And you just go from there. You know what I'm saying? But once you get out of my hands, your future awaits, man. It's a company out there that's going to give you some dental, give you some vision, give you some benefits.
Yeah.
All your kids going to have benefits. And all you got to do is hang in there, and now you rolling.
Be teachable.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Be
and
willing to learn.
A lot of people are not, man. A lot of people are not.
Yeah, be teachable, you know? Man. Be willing to learn, man. You know, sometimes you just got to be quiet and just soak up the game that's given to you, you know what I mean, if you don't know.
Yeah. And be honest. You know, and one thing I'll say is that coming in like CMV Pros, I'm almost like an accelerated course. You know, this is a fast track for somebody that's trying to get somewhere pretty fast. So it helps if you have a little background, if you worked at a trucking company, talk to a lot of truck drivers, because I'm going to get you through my program as fast as I can. But everybody can't handle that speed. Everybody can't handle, you know, that fast
that
acceleration
class.
So I mean by being honest, if you struggle reading, or if you know you had an IED when you was in high school, or if you was in like remedial courses and stuff, tell me that stuff up front, because as adults, we're not addressing, you know,
real situations.
We don't be realizing, oh, you got a learning disorder.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't want to realize you got a learning disorder, and we on 90, and I got 3 other people in the truck. You know? And when I'm saying stop, or you know what I'm saying, like, you got to know what's going on, and you got to be real enough with yourself and tell people up front. You know, and that's not for me to share with nobody.
Like that?
I'd had a couple students that I questioned their mental capacity and where they was at, and if they had an IEP or something.
You like this one?
You know what I'm saying? Left mean left. You know, I'm saying keep going right. 2 weeks later. So
you
something going on.
Going, man.
You
like,
know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
That's real, man. I'm like, that's the truth.
What's your ultimate vision for changing perceptions about the trucking industry, last but not least?
You know what, man? Just get in the game. Use trucking to just springboard your life, whatever that is. You know, I never in a day thought I would be a truck driver, man. You know what I'm saying? Went to South High School. You know, grew up in Cleveland. Man, I wasn't think about being no truck. I thought I'd be, you know, later in life, I thought I'd be a rapper. I thought I'd be painting cars.
Yeah.
Man, I done sold dogs, man. I done did detailed cars, man. You stay with it, and you don't even know. And like what's going on now, a lot of people, we in this, you know, everybody, this woke culture, everybody want to be entrepreneurs and stuff. And then a lot of times you're going to be better at whatever you've been doing for the past 20, 30 years. So you done had this job the whole time. You done gave your job 50%, and you've been focusing on this other stuff, but you started to realize, like, if you just tap into what you've been doing, that's probably the best business you can have on the side. You get this job, if you just take it serious and really tap into them skills and stuff. That's how it was for me. I never thought I'd have a school or none of that.
How long has the school been established, by the way?
The school been established really since 2015.
Okay.
But kind of like 2021 full-fledged.
Okay, so we're going almost about 10 years now.
Yep.
10 full years.
Yep.
Hey, I want to thank you for coming out, Desmond, and sharing your experience with CMV Pros, man.
I appreciate
giving
you,
us the ins and outs on trucking schools, you know what I'm saying, the trucking industry in general. Make sure y'all stay tuned to TopTv, inspirational stories like this from people all over the world, and we'll see y'all around.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Sipenya,